Hello, here I am with another tag video. I saw this on, what's her name's? Alexandra Roseland's channel. There are 15 questions. It is the book recommendation tag, which seems kind of like a basic, rough, like kind of flat line. These are some books that I would recommend. So the first question, there are 15 questions, is a book that you tell people is your favorite. And this actually changed very recently. Not very recently, but within the last couple of years. Basically, since I was in 8th grade, my favorite book was The Long Walk. But now, it's Beartown. It's Beartown. I've read this book twice this year, and I've cried both times, so it's Beartown. The second one is a book that is your guilty pleasure. This is less of a book and more of an author, but I'll show you my favorite book from this author. That's Richard Lehman. This is In the Dark, which is my favorite book that I've read from him so far. Richard Lehman is a classic splatterpunk author. He wrote mostly in like the 80s and the 90s, and splatterpunk as a genre as a whole is a little bit controversial, but Richard Lehman definitely has the weird objectification thing going on. I realize it, the amount of times this man uses the word rump is insane. Like, it's every single book. It's insane. But there's batshit insane, especially this book. This book is just crazy. I've read it twice. It was one of my favorite books I read last year. Guilty pleasure. And number 3, a book everyone loved but you didn't. See, I wouldn't have it on my shelves then. Because I'm very good at getting rid of books if I don't like them. Let's see. Ugly Love is one. That's not really everyone. I mean, like, it's super popular, but it's also super much not liked. I didn't really like Shatter Me all of them. I didn't hate it though, you know. Probably Ugly Love or Shatter Me, but then again, I wouldn't keep it on my shelf, so here's pictures. Book you read the fastest. This is actually when I read this past one. Camp Damascus. I know it was on my Goodreads for 2 days, but I didn't actually read the first page until the last day I read it, and I just straight through. Oh my god, this is fantastic. Camp Damascus. Then a book that deserves more hype. Let's go manga. Let's go the Monthly Girls and Saki-kun series. This is my favorite manga and my favorite anime too. I have the series on DVD. It's so funny. It's so good. It's so cute, and I just don't understand why it isn't just like universally everybody's favorite, because it's the best thing in the world, basically. Number 6, a book that's becoming a movie or a TV show. Recently, this one is becoming a movie in the next, I think it's releasing like the next 5 days. This is gonna be everybody's fucking answer. But we read this book, and that's Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm so pumped for the movie. Oh my god, it looks great. This book was great. It was so fun. It was adorable. I loved it. A book that you have reread the most. Okay, now we'll get The Long Walk out. I haven't grabbed my original Bachman books, but no, this entire book in general I read 1,000 times, but even more than that, I read The Long Walk 1,000 times. Because the first time I read this, I was in 8th grade. I read Rage, really enjoyed it. I read The Long Walk, loved it with all my heart. Started Roadwork, was deeply bored. Every single chapter of Roadwork, I would go back and reread The Long Walk. Weird noises. And the chapters in Roadwork are not very long, most of them, so The Long Walk. It's The Long Walk. A book from a genre you don't typically read. Okay. Black Iris by Leah Rader. This is this erotica? I don't really know what this is. But it's not something that I read a lot of. And this was honestly, I read this, I think it was my favorite book of like 2015, like the year I graduated high school. Definitely not something I read a lot of though, but I really liked it. I haven't read it in a while. I've read Cam Girl more recently, which is back there too, but I liked Black Iris more, so. A book that deserves all the hype it gets. Get my boy Stephen Graham Jones in here. Oh my god. So I loved My Heart is a Chainsaw and Don't Fear the Reaper, obviously so much. I love them so much. But also Only the Deans is great. Mongrels I had a really fun time with, but I did pick up My Heart is a Chainsaw just because it is, I think, just one of the best books I've read. It's the best horror novel. It made me cry within like the span of like 1 page. Like, I was not crying. I read 1 page and then I was bawling my eyes out. It's so good. Great horror novel, especially if you're a big horror fan. Just the love letter to horror this is. It's so good. A book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. I mean, Beartown, obviously. That's what it is. Normally I just say Beartown, but I guess I've recommended Life After Death quite a few times if we're not going with Beartown, which I actually read the same year as I read Beartown and was also one of my top favorite books of the year. But if you're a West Memphis 3 person, it's very well written too. Honestly, I love Eccles' writings. Like, he's a fantastic writer. Honestly, it's amazing. All right, a book that has your favorite characters. Without a doubt, the Gone series. I love it so much. Oh my god, I reread the series in like June, and it's just the characters are what make the series for me. I think also the fact that it's super gory. I'm like, Michael Grant did not have to go this hard for a young adult series, and he did. There's cannibalism like right away. But no, Howard is my number 1. Hunter Lefkowitz is my number 2. But no, Gone series for sure. A book you wish you could live in. So here's the thing. I read horror mostly. I don't really want to live in any of these places. And I didn't really want to do this because, like, again, when I'm doing these tags, my goal is not to do an advertisement. But hear me out. I know this is hell. But so this is my book. This is the scariest book in the Pentology of Hell trilogy. Not trilogy. Pentology. There's 5 books. All 5 books of the main series are out, by the way. So you can buy them if you want. But basically this book, it is I wrote the first draft of this book right here when I was 14 years old. And it was like a atheistic 14-year-old trying to struggle with being terrified of the fact that she was very aware that there was going to be nothing after death and wanted to figure out like the best possible scenario. And this is what I came up with. And honestly, I'm still kind of like that. The hell that I create in here is kind of fun. Although I just thought of something. I have maintained that the best, like, assuming you survive the initial apocalypse, the best case scenario for an apocalypse, in my eyes, I would love the Stand. I would love to be in the Stand. Oh my god, there's so many places I just want to go into and not be trespassed from. Like, I would just want to go into these places and I want to climb things. I want to climb these big piles of rocks and stuff like that they won't let me because it's somebody's like workplace. If everybody's dead, I can climb those things. So assuming I survive the first initial round of the super flu, the Stand, I didn't even have to make it out at all. I could cut that out, but I won't. A book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. And this one is based on the fact that like the first 60 pages I was so deeply bored, and then at the end of the book it was my favorite book of the year. That is Glamorama by Brady Snells. This was my favorite book of 2022. And the first 60 pages, I actually was doing a vlog, and the first 60 pages I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking boring, and what is happening? Favorite book of the year. Oh my, I love it so much. So much. Like it, so good. And then a book that made you cry. We could bring up Beartown again, the entire series. But I don't want to reuse that. I already mentioned Gone. What else has made me cry? I was gonna grab Brutal Youth, but then one that like I didn't expect to make me cry because of what it is, and that's Exquisite Corpse. Any of the time that, what was his name, Lewis? His name was either Lewis or Lucas. Luke. Every time he had a point of view, I would be crying. Like, I don't even know why. Just Exquisite Corpse made me cry. It's very tragic. And a book you wish you could read for the first time. I mean, I don't think I've ever talked about this book, but it was so good. I would love to read it for the first time because it was just such a trip. And that's Confessions by Kanye Minato. This one was nuts, man. Like, it's so good. It was like not quite good enough to be one of my top books of the year, but it was so good. And I read it at the time when I wasn't really making videos. I read it last October, and it's just really just I'd love to read it again for the first time. Like, that would be fantastic. But yeah, that is the book recommendation tag. Now I got a lot of books to put away. I forgot that's the part of the tags where you take all the books off your bookshelves, and now I have more than just one bookshelf, so gotta run all around. But yeah, that is all. I will talk to you later, and goodbye.